name is Sayat. I belong to Platform Ops team and currently working in the testing team as a software engineer. My topic is continuous testing.
So, being in the organization, we know that every organization has their websites. So, every website has many pages on them that goes live into every week. So, it's really become a problematic situation for every tester or the testing team to manually test those pages and keep a track of those pages. In every few weeks, there are certain enhancements we give. Like, let's say we have a website. So, in the website, we can have updated. We do have updated links. We update the images of it. Certain parts of the section of the website, images. Then we have the font size. Then we have the color of the text. Or say some certain banners, we have certain banners we can say. And these are the things are required for every web page. So a web page constantly changes over time. Now there are certain contents of the website that's changed over time. Like the text of the title, we can change it over time also. Like today it's the title 1 and tomorrow it can be title 2. So we don't know on which page the title has been changed because the developers know it. And if we have to keep track of all those changes from file 1 to the title 1 to title 2, we have to keep in mind that which page has changed its title. So whenever a page is getting titled, its title is getting changed, there are certain factors affecting the title also. Like if a small change is affected in a website, then there is a possibility that other changes will also have a regression effect. So what really is regression effect? Now the regression effect is, in terms of testing, we have this term regression. So regression means that a small change that we make to a particular feature can bring on a lot of bugs or issues to the existing features also. So in regression testing, what we do that we see that if a change has really changed a previous feature or not. I mean to say that it has produced a new issue or not after making a new change. So what we really do is that we perform regression testing, and many times the regression testing seems very impossible because there are many websites there are many pages in a website. So we have to go through all of the pages to find out what went wrong at the early stage. To overcome this problem due to the regression effect, I have implemented a solution. So the solution is that I built a framework, and that framework consists of, let's say, what we have. We keep the data like, so what data can we keep? We can keep the data like the name of the content, name of the, let's say, title. There we go on, and on the second we have the title of every page. Then we have the most important thing of a website. We all know that, the header and the footer. So the header is mandatory for all of the web pages and they are constant through every pages. Same goes for the footer also. So the footer can be changed over time. And what we have in footer is that we mainly have the membership links, partnership links, that are all added in the footer. And in header we have certain redirections of the other websites too that are interlinked with the other website. So the header and footer are the most important factor of a website. Now, due to some certain tasks, or we can say certain involvement of other tasks, there can't be like a detailed time to give more effort into these testing things. So what we do is that we are going to keep these things in a certain CSV file, or let's say any test data. We call them test data. CSV file, Excel sheet, or in a certain database. Let's say database. So what we are going to do is that, or should I say what I did, basically I chose CSV file because it's more convenient to use and it supports many formats. So I chose the CSV file format because it is more convenient to use, because CSV file is supported by most of the systems and most of the mobile phones, let's say operating systems, maybe Linux, Ubuntu there is, and Mac OS and Windows OS. So CSV file is supported by a wide variety of systems. Let's say operating systems like Unix, Linux. We have the Mac OS and the Windows OS. So the better part of CSV file is that we can have our preferred delimiters. Like we can use semicolons as a part of it. We can use let's say commas. That's the most widely used one. Or we can have anything like pipe operator. And we can have like this comes certain situations when a text has commas in it. Like there is a time I went. So suppose this is a statement. This is a sentence. Suppose, and there is a time, comma, I went. So the comma is here. So this comma will not be identified by CSV easily in a string. So what we do is that CSV also suppose a format of keeping them in quotes. That's the beauty of it, and I did that as well. So what I did that I did a custom code for it to accept strings that are only within the quotes. So what I did that the CSV file uses a delimiter of using semicolons, because that's the unique part of it of using a CSV file for my case. So suppose if there is a time I wait. Suppose there are some oranges I eat. So let's say I eat. So this is a normal statement. Now if I use my CSV file, then it will be getting distributed into furthermore columns, in two columns. This will be a one column and this will be in second column. But I want it all together. So what I did that I use the semicolon approach for dividing it. So if there is statement 1 and there is a statement 2. Let's say we have another statement 3. So what we have is the 3 statements that are within the quotes, differentiating between all among them. And in the statement 2 we can have commas, we can have anything, hyphens, whatever we can have. So the main part of the delimiter that I use is the semicolon, which is differentiating between these 3 columns. And then what I did is that keeping these things in a place of my project structure. So what I have is that I am keeping my test data in such a way that it will have all my test data, all my files of the implementation or the source code, which I can say, and the output of it, the result generated. Now the output is something like everybody can use it. Like we have the marketing team that performs the UAT, and they are in charge of making the changes to the website. Now they don't know much about the code, so they can't manually go inside the code and just change whatever the content is being changed directly. So what I provide them is a CSV file that is generated by an output of this certain code automation script that I prefer to say. So what it really does is that we have an expected value that will be what I should expect. Like if there is I expect 100. I expect 100, suppose. But I got the actual value 99, and this is my status. So the status is pass or fail. So it's a fail because I expected 100 but I got actual value 99. So what happens really is that whenever my framework starts its job, it will look at the source code, it will perform certain operations, and it will generate an output in a CSV format, and my CSV format is in this form. It has an expected value, it has an actual value, and the status. If 199 is failed, so the status will print out fail, and this will be properly in a generated manner of a CSV file. Suppose it's 99 and it's 99. It's true, so I'll make it pass. So that way, all of the text, all of the content of a website are placed inside a test data. So this test data is very
what can I say, very private for the organization because it is very confidential and the testers only gonna make the changes in test data.
So what are we doing exactly is that we are performing certain actions. So what exactly is we are doing there? We are performing continuous testing.
So building a framework is really hard sometimes because there are certain configurations and dependencies as well. So what I did, I built a framework from scratch for the continuous testing problem. And my solution was, and my implementation is that I built a framework of test data driven. So in this test data, what we have is that the expected URLs, the expected page titles, the expected footer text, and many things in a website. You can have expected text like the content, the title, the header 1 tag, the header 2 tag, the header 3 tag, the header 4 tag, and so on. And what we have is that the links also. We are having the URLs, that a certain website has many URLs. That's a link to another website. So as per my research I did when testing the website, I found that our website contains more than 100 links in a website. So it is very hard or very difficult to maintain those links over time. If a small link is broken or a small link is being changed, then it's really hard to find that on which part or at the which section the link has broken. So after the test data, what we have is that we are saving this test data in a CSV format file. As I've said before, the CSV file is very much confidential for our organization because it is going to have all the test data inside. So we are going to have the expected URLs, all of these things stored in a CSV file. Now CSV file has many advantages also. I have told you before that is easy to maintain, its maintainability is very fast and very much secure, and it can be supported by a wide variety of systems, Linux, macOS and Windows. So in the test data, what we have is that the test data will be compared to the value picked at the runtime. So what we have is that the framework. Now the test data will be fed to our test script. Now the test script is what I wrote, the code or the automation code that I wrote. Now what value are we comparing? So the value what we are comparing is the content of the page, validating page title of every page, validating correct footer text, validating footer link, validating URLs of every page. Now certain times comes when the headers and footers needs to be changed, and with a lot of ongoing changes, sometimes it can have that we are going to crash the website more often. So as I said that due to regression effect, what we have is that a small feature or a small enhancement or a small change in a website can bring down the whole website also, or can introduce new bugs or new issues inside that page only. So we have to take care of that. So building this framework can also be an advantage for us also, that we can reuse these test scripts more often and often, or can make slight changes to it and it will perform the same thing, and it will perform a regression testing for us and give us the results also. So what we have is that, let's say, so now the test data, this is a CSV file format. Now we have the test script. Now my framework is built upon the Selenium tool which automates browser. Don't confuse it as an automation tool, it just automates the browser, and Maven as my build dependency. So in the Maven what I have is the build. So it helps to build my project. It will manage all the dependencies, all the libraries, all the external tools, all the reporting plugins that I use. That will be managed by Maven itself. So Maven is a very powerful tool, and Maven itself is quite a variety used. Then we have the Gauge framework. I hope that this image you have not seen anywhere, because this is a recent framework, and this framework is very much new to the market also. This framework we know is Gauge framework. It is similar like the Cucumber, that is most widely used and open source. Gauge is also an open source. So what Gauge is really Gauge is an acceptance testing tool. So it performs the same thing like the Cucumber by having more advantage to Gauge, because it gives a proper HTML report, and we have many advantages of using it because it supports a lot of languages, favorite languages ours, like the Ruby. It can support Ruby, it can support Java, it can support JavaScript. It's also supports C#. That's good. So because C# is widely used by the .NET developers, so they can in the free time use this one. tool also. So what we have that I have all my things here. So with the help of these things, what I do or what I did is that I wrote this script with 3 of this. Now after the writing this script, what I do is that I push it to the existing repository. This is my company's or organization's repository. So every time I'm making a changes to the code, I just push it to the repository. So a pipeline will be run. So what is a pipeline exactly? Let's say a pipeline is like a pipe. Okay. So we have many sections on that. So what we have, if there is a leak, then it notifies us. Like the water goes out from the pipe and lets us notify that which section water broke out. So that pipeline works for us also in the same case. So as I use the Maven tool, the build tool, it helps to build the software or the packages that we have. So in the pipeline, what we have, when I push the code to the repository, it then passes certain stages. What are those stages? My automation script will be run on Chrome and on Mozilla Firefox. So it will be tested on both of the browsers. Earlier in manual testing, I did not have the advantages of doing that also, because in less time I can't make sure of what went wrong at both of the browsers. So what we have is the 3 build phases. So these 3 build phases notifies us that what other stages are going on right now in the CI/CD pipeline. So we have the test analysis Chrome. You can name anything. So in the Chrome section, the script which I wrote here, the script will be fed into the repository, and it is an automation part totally. So when I push the code to the repository, it will be going to the Chrome browser. It will be performed on the Chrome browser and Firefox as well. So when it will be performed on the Chrome browser and Firefox, so in the background, certain tasks are going on. So in the build phase, we currently have 3 phases. So what we have at the first stage is the test analysis Chrome, where you can see that it has passed and the execution on Chrome passed. It gives us a notification also. We can do that also, but we don't do that. And we have the test analysis Firefox, that is also passed. So what we have is that on the Chrome browser, our source code or the test automation script has successfully passed on Chrome, and on the test script we passed it on the Firefox as well, as we can see in the 2 stages. Then we have the notify build section. So what does this notify build section does? This notify build section gives us a report in a HTML format, in a .xml format, or in a .json format, whatever format we like. That the format is provided by the Gauge automation tool itself. It's a very powerful automation tool, and I can certainly say that it may in the future can replace Cucumber also. And yeah, its documentation is a really much not helpful, but you have to deep dive into it and research more about it. But it's a really powerful tool. And what we have is the notify section. So notify section will send email. So this email will be sent to any of the organization, stakeholders, anyone. So what we have, this email will be sent from the GitLab itself, from the pipeline itself, or the GitLab itself. We have the report analysis. We can have anything here. So what it says is, hello site report, the URL of the report. So after clicking on this report, we are going to get the HTML report. In the HTML report, we will have how many test cases passed, how many test cases failed, and what are the assertion errors, that means the expected value and actual value didn't match or not. So what we are going to do is that, let's say, now after receiving this URL, we have a part of test output. So what's the test output? The folder contains all the output values or the assertions results. So when we are going to build this CI/CD pipeline and all these build stages are passed, it will directly send us a report, and in that report URL link, that folder will be containing a test result CSV file. The file will contain these 3 major things: expected title, what title are we expecting? Let's say we are expecting 100, and in the actual part we got 99, so it's gonna be failed. So and suppose we have 100 here in the expected section, then we have 100 in our actual section, then it's gonna pass. So in this way it will be generated in a proper structured file, and with certain columns we have. So the output can be customized based on our choices. we can have at what location the test failed exactly. But for now, we just get what the title of the page, the headers, the footers, the linkings of every pages, and the status of it. So these reports can be shared among anyone with the help of the email. So we're gonna add just emails to whom we are going to send, and that person is gonna receive those emails about the test results. Now coming to the benefits of these experimental tasks that I brought for continuous testing is that it has many advantages. Listen, it continuously helps us to test the software, test the applications, test the websites, web applications, anything that we want in a continuous manner, and it can continuously help us to improve certain features in every week and so often. And it helps to build trust among the stakeholders of the clients that their product is always being tested at every time whenever a new feature is being implemented on. So what we expect from the client is that they are going to have satisfaction from our work, and they also expect the same, that yes, the services which we are providing to them is beneficial for them also and beneficial for our both also. So we are going to keep a healthy relationship between the clients and our organization. So clients always expects that yes, my product should be defect free, my product should be easy to use, and my product should be widely used. That's the most important thing. And we're going to make the changes ASAP. So what we have is that it builds a framework for us to continuously test this application in an automated way. It gives the power of automation. So it helps to reduce the manual labor. It helps to deliver the software in a continuous manner every week and the most important part of this framework is that it's quite beneficial for managing by everyone. So I've learned this continuous testing from my experimental task, and it helped me to learn new things like the gauge tool and the more often of this framework of the Q-data driven framework. Now this solution can be implemented anywhere, and I can implement it by myself. So it will save a lot of time for us, and it will save a lot and it will deliver faster output to the client. So this is the main thing that needs to be delivered from every organization. At Xenonstack we are doing that.